Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
You meet someone for the very first time and something seems off. Or maybe you're in a relationship with someone and they continuously make, I want to say problems, but promises, and they don't work out. Maybe you're sitting somewhere about to make a decision and you just get this feeling, I don't know what it is, but I know I shouldn't move forward. These are potentially red flags. And when we see or feel or notice a red flag, why is it that sometimes we move forward knowing that there's a red flag, flags waving, do not go, but we continue on? We are going to discuss this today on A Woman's Prerogative. I'm thrilled to welcome back my co-host and the star of our show. Joining us all the way from Canada, it's Amanda Holmstrom. Let's welcome her to the program. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
So nice to have you back again, especially last week. We were in the top 10 for the premiere pilot episode. Well done, Amanda.
Thank you. That is amazing. And it's thanks to all our viewers. They're amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Amanda, you are the founder of Silver Rose & Co. You're also an etiquette and protocol expert. You've been a teacher for decades. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, as Dr. Jacqueline introduced me, I'm Amanda Holmstrom. I am the founder and director of Silver Rose & Co., which is a company that helps people find their confidence in social situations, in new situations. We help people stepping into new parts of their life. We work with children as young as preschool. And we love meeting people. I love etiquette. It's been such a big part of my own life, and it's changed my life, and I want to bring that to other people.
And we live in a time where more etiquette, the better. So last week we were talking about when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And this topic just seemed like a natural segue from that. But let's just recap a little bit for our viewers who maybe were not able to watch the program last week. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. But yet we think to ourselves, oh, they probably mean this, or I might be able to change them. I can fix them. This is a project. Instead of just saying, this is who they are. Amanda, why is it that we drive ourselves crazy by continuously thinking we can change someone or fix someone?
You know what? I love that topic that we discussed last week. And I think we came up with the idea that we want to expect, or we hope that people will treat us the same way that we treat them. That what we give to people is what we're going to get back. And it's a hope that everyone is going to be good to each other. And unfortunately, sometimes they show that they're not, and we're still not willing to accept the little warning signs that come up. And that leads into today's topic, red flags, and whether or not we're going to pay attention to what our instincts say.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think one of the things that comes up for me just in thinking about my own behavior is I want something to happen. I'm so excited about something happening that I kind of latch on to whomever it is that's the messenger to carry it forward. I know you and I each have some different examples that we're going to share, but for our audience, when we first meet someone, sometimes there are red flags. What can you think of that might be a red flag? You just met somebody.
Pushiness. Quite often, and you do have to give allowances. I do find that they could be having a bad day. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt the first time, but be aware of how they're acting. If I've gone to dinner with somebody and they treat the wait staff horribly, okay, not okay, but it could be an off day. But I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind that if somebody can treat people that way and it happens again, that's a warning flag. Because what's going to happen? Yeah, I'm in this great honeymoon phase of meeting this new person. But what happens when it's not in that phase anymore? Are they going to start treating me that way? And that's concerning. It's all things business red flags too, right? The boss who's going to push you around.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's go one step further. Someone who you just meet and they're already gossiping. Oh, did you know so-and-so? Do you see so-and-so over there with it's not going to be too long before they're gossiping about me.
Exactly. And I can't agree more. That's when I saw the topic for today's show, when we were discussing it, that was one of the things that instantly jumped into my mind. But I have to also wonder, what does a red flag mean to each individual person? Because it can be very different from person to person, right? For me, a red flag is a warning that I could be in danger, or this person could be harmful to my mental well-being, to my physical well-being, or just to the space around me and the people around me. What does a red flag mean to you, Dr. Jacqueline?
I think a red flag to me means that I'm going to get hurt in some way or another, or someone I care about will get hurt because I'm basically trusting this person to do something or follow through with something, and then it doesn't happen. And so let's go into some examples because I know you have one and I have one. Why don't you go first? Because I think yours is quite interesting also because it involves safety and it involves you by yourself, which, you know, for many people, they don't travel alone. You're a world traveler. And so you've been in some situations that many people watching may never have. So tell us a little bit about this particular example of red flags.
My most recent trip, I travel quite often into Doha, Qatar, and I'm always ecstatic to be going. I cannot wait. My flights get booked within the first hour that I find out I have to go. My accommodations are set. I'm ready to be packed and go. For the first time ever, I had hesitations. I was still excited to go. I had lived there for quite a while, so in some ways Doha is home. But I wasn't looking forward to going. It took me over 2 weeks to book my flight. It took me even longer to arrange where I was going to be staying and with who. And right up to the last moment, I didn't even pack till the morning I was leaving because I just could not get the excitement to go. But I got on the plane, even though everything in me was going, I don't want to go. Got into Doha, got to my accommodations, and the warning alarms went off all over the city. And the airspace got shut because it was the start of the conflict that's going on at the moment. And I was then stuck in Doha for a month. Well, I had missiles falling around me. Had I just listened, maybe I would have gone, maybe I shouldn't be going right now.
So Amanda, I want to jump in here because I remember when this was going on, and it's almost like, is this a Netflix TV special? And it's actually happening, and it happened to you. So you had these feelings that you probably never had before, right? When it comes to travel. So what if we're going to play devil's advocate? Because I think this is a lot of times we think to ourselves, well, I already bought the ticket. Well, what if I don't go? Well, what are the ramifications? Well, how will I get there? How much more is it going to cost? All these questions that we don't have answers to at the moment. What were you feeling when you made the decision to continue to move forward with the trip?
I was happy that I was getting to go and visit friends and I was supposed to do some work, which I ended up not being able to do. But there was a feeling that I should just stay home. And that almost never if I get the opportunity to go somewhere, I'm the first one on that plane and I'm ready to go. And this time, even my husband asked me the night before, he went, "Are you okay? Maybe you should stay home." And I went, "No, it's all booked. I am going. This will be good." But I couldn't get the excitement. Woke up in the morning and I'm like, I still haven't packed. What should I take? I don't really want to go, which is so odd.
And it's amazing because the impact was profound.
Yes.
It wasn't like you were delayed for a day. It was a major delay, and what you witnessed and what you experienced being in a war zone, watching what's going on, is traumatizing.
It was. During my time there, I don't think it quite hit me, the impact it had. I trust the Qatari government 100%. They were not going to let anything happen to us if they could stop it. They were on top of it from the beginning, and they were amazing. But my two accommodations, my main one was about 3 blocks from the American embassy. And with some of those missiles going off, it was a duck and cover. The windows, I'm amazed some of those windows didn't just explode in with the shaking. Some of those jets that went overhead were so close that you could read the writing on them. Mm. I went to the grocery store at one point, and debris actually fell while I was there. It hit some of the cars around mine. And it was constant noise at night. The alarms were going off in the first week and a half constantly. So there was no sound sleep. And I didn't realize exactly how sleep deprivation really can affect until I finally got back to Indonesia, heading home. And I had a stay overnight in Bali, and Bali does beautiful fireworks from some of their resorts at night. And I was standing at the pool bar talking with people, and all of a sudden these fireworks started going off. And I had this massive panic attack, and I actually ducked, and I was like, what is going on? And it took me a moment to realize exactly what was happening. It was a unique experience that I wouldn't want to go through again. I am thankful that I experienced it where I did, because they were amazing. But I don't wish that experience on anyone. And I will definitely listen. The next time I'm going, I don't think I want to go somewhere. I think I might just stay home.
I'm sorry that you had to go through it. And it's such a good reminder of listening to our intuition. And when we look at all the what ifs, we may never know. But we can't go back in time. We can just move forward. And so what I just heard you say was you are going to listen to yourself. And when those red flags come up, because we ignore them all the time for some reason. This was a major situation, which I don't know what I would have done if I were you. I mean, you're so courageous, and all the traveling, as I mentioned, for anyone who missed it, you were alone.
I was
traveling alone going through this. So for anyone who has not traveled internationally by themselves, I've done it. It's not the easiest thing. in the entire world, especially when you're dealing with other cultures. You're not in your home country, and there's a lot to consider. So thank you for sharing that with us.
I'm happy to share that. That was a learning experience that I hope if somebody can hear it from me, they can take something from that.
I have, for sure.
I know you have an example as well. Please.
Yes.
I'd love to hear it.
My example is a business example. Someone whom I have a lot of respect for was working with this company. And I've shared this on a couple of my other shows, but it warrants being repeated. And I would love to say the company name. I'm dying to say the company name, but I will not. And this person, whom I have a lot of respect for, was working with this marketing company. And the company does book marketing and they do social media marketing. And so this person was having a good experience, introduced me. And so I thought, okay, I will hire this company. And to be honest, I did no research on the company because it came from a referral and somebody was already working with them and having a good experience. So I hired them for social media marketing. And I think they were doing social media marketing for 2 or 3 months until I learned how to do it myself. Thank you very much. And now people hire me to do it. But they also were really big on book marketing. And so they promised to get your books into up to 200 bookstores. So I signed up for this as well. And then I learned that they can do book launches. So I was traveling to London and I was excited and I wanted to do a book signing for my new book at Waterstones Piccadilly. So for those of you who don't know, Waterstones is a big chain. It's kind of like Barnes and Noble in the States. And Piccadilly is a great location right in the center, or the heart of, I should say, London. I don't know if it's the center. So they said they could do it. Very exciting. I needed to order the books. So they were going to print the books and they would send them through customs. And so the whole thing was worked out. So I'm very excited, make all kinds of announcements on social media. And I actually get to London. And it turns out that where we were meeting was 2 blocks from Waterstones Piccadilly. So I walked down there. It was a very hot day. It was last summer, I think. It was when I met you. It was that trip. I think it was June. It was so hot. I go in there, I'm like dripping sweat, walking, my heels and everything. And so I asked to meet the store manager. And while waiting, I look around the store and I don't see a single flyer with my name on it. I don't see anything with the book cover on it. So the manager comes and I said, hello, my name is, and I'm doing a book signing. It was like, let's say it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm doing a book signing on Saturday. I don't see any signage. I just want to introduce myself. So he says, let me look in the computer. And he comes back and says, 0 book signings. We don't know who you are. You are an unknown. We have nothing planned for you. So I immediately take out my phone and call the guy from the company. And he answers the phone, which was shocking because you could never get him on the phone. And he's like, oh, everything's taken care of. And I said, well, actually, you're on speaker and the manager's here. So they have a back and forth. And the guy insists that this has been organized. And the manager's saying, no, sir, no, it's not. You know, what email address did you use? So the guy tells him the email address. And so now the manager brings it. You got 2 people looking. So finally, the manager said, sir, we have nothing. So the guy finally admits that he never sent anything in. So I can't even believe, like, the humiliation, the embarrassment as I'm standing there. So I excuse myself. I go outside and I say to the guy, I cannot believe that you took my money, knowing I have a television network, knowing all the people that I could recommend, and you basically stole my money and provided nothing. And the guy's like, I'll make it up to you. I'll get you 3 or 4 book signings at Barnes and Noble. I'm like, you think I would ever do anything again with you? I want my money back. I want my books back. Well, here he went completely dark, off the grid. So I ended up looking them up on Trustpilot, and I'd never heard of that before. And there were all of these negative things, scam artists. So they got me for about 10 grand and humiliation. But you would never know. But there were red flags, and here's what they were. One, wire transfer money only to a bank in Jamaica, New York, and they were in Beverly Hills. So no PayPal, no Revolut, none of the things that are out there. They wouldn't take any of them, just a bank wire transfer. Then the second thing was the only way to call anyone from the company was on WhatsApp. And there's no voicemail on WhatsApp. So when I think back to these two things alone, now I know, scam.
Oh, I am so sorry you had to go through that. I do remember that was when we met.
Yes.
And it was so horrible at the time. And you know what? It's still horrible.
It is. But you know, Mandy, the thing that I think so interesting is they did the social media marketing. So it's kind of like they reel you in by actually doing something. But then when you take it to the next level, and oh, by the way, the friend colleague they were working with, they never gave any of the services other than the social media marketing for that person either. So
they did well with the media, but not.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So point is, there were red flags and I didn't do my homework. So let's go on to when we're in a relationship with someone, and there's always a behavior dynamic, especially if you know someone for a long time. It could be a family member, spouse, doesn't matter. And so one person does this and the other person does that, or you can push someone's buttons and then they're going to do this. And we already know the outcome. In fact, we even know our own outcome when someone's asking us. We know what we're going to do. And there's always clues. But it's like ping pong, back and forth, back and forth. So what can we do when we experience this red flag scenario with someone we know who's going to make a promise to do something, and then we know they're not going to follow through?
You know what? That is such a follow-up from our conversation last week, because we were discussing the fact that it gets to a point where you stop trusting them to help you, right? If you're starting a relationship, if they miss one obligation because of an appointment or something happened, you can kind of look the other way. But if it keeps happening, then that's a huge red flag that you have to pay attention to. And a lot of people don't, because they think, oh, it'll get better as we get to know each other. This is going to get better. They'll start doing what they say, or they'll start paying attention. They won't be on their phone all the time. They'll actually have a conversation, or they won't raise their voice so often. Just little things, right? It's so nice that they're making all the decisions at the moment. They made the decision on what I should eat or who I was going to talk to at dinner. That's great. But that's a huge warning flag too. And people will ignore that, going, oh, that was so charming. What a gentleman. But next time I'll make my own decisions. But it happens again, and it keeps going. And they keep going, oh, well, you know what? It's nice that they're making decisions. I don't have to think too hard. But they're ignoring the warnings, the red flags. And that can be detrimental to themselves and people around them. What do you think, Dr. Jacqueline?
You hit the $1 million buzzword, trust. You lose trust in the person. And what I've experienced myself is when you sit down to have the conversation with someone, it's a waste of time because the person isn't open to feedback. Even if you say, hey, would you be open to some feedback about what I'm feeling right now? Yeah, okay, looking around. Or no, I'm not interested. So you give the feedback. And okay, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Or as soon as you start giving the feedback, oh, we're doing this again. Oh, I got to hear this again. Oh, here you go. The same comments, you're like, I'm trying to explain something to you so that we can have a better understanding. of one another. I don't have time for this. There's all kinds of defensive moves or feedback that you get. So now in those scenarios, in situations where I have to still be working with these people or knowing the people or encountering the people, I already know in my mind the trust is broken. And so I will have minimal expectations. And if they're minimal expectations, sometimes even they are too high, that we have to have no expectations. But Amanda, what I think, and I'd love your opinion about this, is if we are not confident and strong in ourselves, it can sort of be like a boomerang and it comes back to hit us because now we're accepting behavior that's disrespectful.
And a lot of people will actually, without even realizing it, they'll think that they actually deserve that behavior.
Right.
They've done something, be it karma, right? Or that they were raised to believe that they were just lucky somebody's paying attention to them. And that they don't deserve to be treated with that respect or that strength that will help build them up. And I've seen that multiple times in classrooms when you're working with children. And you can see the children who are praised. They get time spent with them. They're raised to believe that they are worth something because they want to do better. They believe I can do this without, but then you'll get some of these children that you can see that they're lacking in the self-confidence. I was one of those children. And no matter what they're told by outside, they cannot take it in to believe that they are worth believing that they're meant to be kings. They're meant to be queens. They're meant to be leaders if they want to be, because they can. And you'll see that child when they do well on something and they're praised and, oh, that was so amazing. You did an outstanding job. And you can just watch this child. All of a sudden their shoulders will go back and they'll have this confidence. And because of how they're carrying themselves, at least for that moment, everyone will treat them differently because they know they deserve to be treated with respect. And that's what I work with adults on as well, is that everyone deserves to be their own leader. They all deserve their own excellence because nobody deserves to be treated with disrespect or made to feel like they are not enough. And if they are, that's a huge red flag to be paying attention to.
Absolutely. That is enormous. That's a two-handed red flag right there.
Exactly.
My question for you is, I remember my father would always say, oh, Jackie trusts everyone. And the truth is, if I would meet someone, I would automatically trust them. But as I've learned over time, and believe me, I felt that way. I trust everyone up until maybe 3 years ago. Now I believe trust is earned. But that's a lot of work for people to prove themselves. And when you first meet someone, you don't always have an opportunity for people to prove that they can trust one another, except in the most basic way. Amanda, I'd like to introduce you to so-and-so. Amanda, I'm going to give you a call in 3 days. Some kind of commitment to do something and then actually doing it without being prompted. That is a great way for people to demonstrate the most basic of trust. What are your thoughts? Do you trust everyone initially, or is trust earned?
I kind of fall into the middle of that. I do have a habit of trusting people right off the get-go, much to my family's dismay, because it means I end up bringing strangers home quite often or taking them to places that they meant to go. And the family questions that sometimes because we don't know these people. But I'm very quick. If I get let down once, I'm very quick to close myself off and go, okay, I gave you that chance. I'm willing to give you another one, but it's going to have to be earned. And if you don't carry through on that, then I'm not willing to put myself out there again. At least not easily. It can take quite a while.
It sounds well thought out.
It comes from experience, from being burnt too many times.
You've set boundaries now, and I think that's huge. So a question I have for you and one for the audience to think about, because this has happened to me. It happens to other people. You are doing well. You're perceived to be doing well, and someone wants to borrow money. Someone you know, a family member, going through a little bit of a rough patch, and you get the feeling you should not do it because everything you read, don't lend friends money, don't lend family money unless you are prepared never to see it again. But yet, and it doesn't have to be money, maybe it's some kind of favor that someone asks you to do. And so you go ahead knowing that there is potentially not just a small red flag, but a giant red flag that you may have to end this relationship. And the person will say, over money, you're going to end it over money. But what people don't realize is it's not the money. Yeah. It's saying that you're going to do something and then not doing it.
Absolutely. And I think almost everyone has been in a situation like that, whether a big fallout came from it or something. Everyone has been in a situation where they've lent money to somebody, whether it be a couple of dollars for a coffee or bigger sums for something else. And what always amazes me is how the person who hasn't paid it back or hasn't returned it can turn the situation so that you feel bad for wanting them to do what they've said. But when you look at the situation, when they approached you as well, sometimes those red flags are there in the way they approach you about it. Because even if they ask for the money, sometimes the way they ask for the money doesn't leave you feeling like you have a lot of choice. Oh, well, so-and-so grandma or Uncle Fred, or they said that you would be able to help me with this, and I need so much help. Well, they've just pulled in the rest of the family to go, oh, everyone knows I'm asking you. You don't want to look bad now, do you? Well, that's a huge red flag. And the chances are you're not going to see that come back because they've kind of had to guilt you. At least that's my way of thinking. What do you think?
I am laughing over here because it's so true. They use the guilt card or they turn the whole thing around. Well, the reason why I haven't paid you back is because the terms that you had were ridiculous. Well, you agreed to the terms. Here's another one. Would you mind if I borrow your XYZ for PDQ occasion? Would you mind if I borrow your dress? Would you mind if I borrow your computer? Would you mind if I use your phone? Whatever it is, and then something happens and it breaks. I've had people borrow shoes from me and then they broke the heel off. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have time to get it fixed. They spilled things on it. Oh, I wish I could get it cleaned. It's kind of interesting because it becomes your problem. You're doing the right thing, but then you have to get it fixed. So especially if someone breaks something and then the relationship is not going to be the same. It can't be the same because the trust is broken.
I can't agree more. Things happen. We all know that because we've all had it happen. But it depends on how they approach that situation. And you're absolutely right. And I find that, I love that that's the, but I always wonder, why is it so hard for people just to go, I am so sorry. I was out and on my walk back from the location to the shoe got stuck in a rut or a sidewalk crack and it broke. Yes, we're not going to be happy, but we understand, and they took responsibility right off the bat. And if they go, look, I can get you a new pair of shoes, or can I send this somewhere? At least their chances are I'm going to go, don't worry about it. It's just a pair of shoes. I've got another pair, which I probably don't because I don't actually own that many shoes, but I would understand. But I have to agree with you. The majority are going to go, oh, well, you know what? You gave me an old shoe and you knew it was breaking down, so this wasn't my fault. You should have given me this, or they'll just hand it back without. I've had that happen where somebody will give it back to me packaged and I won't notice that it was actually broken until a few days later. And by then, when you try and bring it up, they're going, oh, well, why didn't you mention it when it first came back to you? I would have understood then. Now you've waited so long, you just want something from me. And I'm going, no.
Or how about this one, Amanda, where someone will say, well, when I gave it back to you, it wasn't broken. I don't know what happened, but it must be something that you did. And then you're like, well, did I do something? I never even took out a package. And here's the other thing. I feel like when it's something of value, think long and hard. And I'm going to give another example. We're actually up against the clock, but we'll go a few minutes later today. So I was somewhere, I don't want to go through the details, but we were having dinner and then we offered to clean the dinner up and put the dishes in the dishwasher, etc. And so the china was very expensive. I'm not going to say the name of the designer with the Medusa head, but it was very expensive. And so one of the dishes got dropped and broke into pieces. And the host was extremely upset, understandably, right? How could you do this? How could you be so careless? And of course, that was the end of the evening. It was a damper on the evening. And later, when I thought about it, the person who broke it actually was able to get a replacement and ordered it. But when I thought about it later, I thought, if you have china that's very valuable, take care of it yourself.
Yes.
Or hire someone to do it, but don't have the people at the dinner party, because when something like that happens, that's a horrible feeling. And I think there's still bad feelings about it all these years later. So I think we have a responsibility also. That's a red flag. You know what? I'm not really going to be able to do the dishes. I'm happy to pitch in some money for someone to do it. I'll take you out to dinner, but I don't feel comfortable cleaning these dishes. And that, I think, is fair.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's multiple other ways. If you want to help, there's other ways you can help too. Packaging up the food or cleaning up napkins, and there's multiple ways. Absolutely. But I agree with you. If they have something that is that priceless in some ways, it is sometimes just easier for them to do that on their own. And they can come forward. There's nothing wrong with going, you know what? I'm going to clean up the china, but would you guys mind getting the cutlery and the napkins? And would somebody mind just sweeping? Depending on, I've been to dinner parties where at the end, they just want a quick sweep so that if anything had fallen, it was done and off we went. There's always other ways to help. And
Absolutely.
I can understand that.
Yeah. And you do a lot of entertaining. I don't entertain that much anymore, but I remember I used to have some really beautiful glasses, and I would want them to be part of, what I was serving, the beverages, the wine, whatever in the glasses. And the whole time I'd be like, oh my gosh, is it down safely? Oh no, it looks like it might be leaning on an edge. And finally I was just like, you cannot be like hawking over someone without the glass. Careful what you do with the glass. Because people feel uncomfortable and you ruin the entire experience. So I said to myself, if that's how things are, that you're that concerned, don't put those dishes out. Don't use those wine glasses. And so they've never been used since. They're in a china cabinet collecting dust. And what is the point of that, by the way?
I'm laughing at that so hard because we just picked up our first crystal wine glasses on a trip in Ireland. And I love these glasses. And I pull them out when the ladies come over for wine and a movie or just cards or just to have some time together. And I have one friend who always, when it comes out, she goes, "Oh, you're giving me the good stuff again." And I am like that because I'm going, I can't replace these easily if they break, right?
Wow.
So I am kind of watching, but I'm going, they're meant to be used. And every time I fill her glass, she goes, "You know I'm going to break." And I kind of look at her and just go, they're meant to be used.
Right.
They're not going to do any good in the cupboard. If you break them, I guess Brian's just going to have to take me to Ireland again. And they laugh, and I'm going, yeah, he's going to love that.
You got to go back for 5 or 6 glasses. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but it's a really good point. It's a good point. We have the red flag, which is, I know this can be broken. And so we have to say to ourselves, it will break. At some point, it's going to break. Who's going to break it? I don't know. But the person who breaks it is going to feel terrible. That's just, and really, is it proper etiquette to ask them to replace it? I don't think so.
No, honestly, you're putting it out there. If it breaks, accidents happen, and you have to accept that. And again, the whole point of etiquette is to make other people feel better. That is the true reason behind etiquette and manners. It's not about me, myself, and I. It is about what I can do for you. So if you're going to give them something that can break and that you will not forgive them for, then you shouldn't be putting it out. As much as you might want to use it while you're having a glass of wine and reading a book in the evening. Take a photo of it and go, "Oh, my lovely set." But don't use it where somebody could feel horrible and you won't forgive them.
What a great way to wrap up the show today, Amanda. Thank you. This was another terrific episode. So please share with our audience, how can you help them? What's the value and support that you can bring to our global audience?
So I provide social confidence and life skills and education for preschool children ages 3 all the way to adults around the world. I'm happy to come anywhere. And if we can help them build that social confidence or the life skills or the skills they need to go to that next interview or to take part in that school play because you've learned to speak better, then my day is made. And that's what we're here for. So I can be reached. Contact me from my website at silverroseco.ca. And you can also find Silver Rose & Co. on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And please connect with me on LinkedIn under Amanda Holmstrom, spelled HOLMSTROM. You can also follow us on YouTube, where you can watch all these marvelous episodes again. As well as please subscribe to our 2 YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio, and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely fantastic. I couldn't have done it better myself, Amanda. We will be looking forward to seeing everyone here again next week. In the meantime, please do reach out to Amanda. All of her contact details are there in the show notes on whatever platform it is that you are watching. And we will be running this show again tomorrow at the same time. So you'll get a double dose of opportunity to check us out. In the meantime, we're going to hear from one of our colleagues and team members, Mr. Red O'Laughlin, who's written a new book called Aging Sucks. Let's take a look.
What if many of the problems we associate with aging are not random? What if there are identifiable causes behind declining energy, chronic disease, and memory problems? We have been told that aging is simply something we must accept, that slowing down is normal, that growing older means growing weaker. But what if that's only part of the story? Why do some people remain active and engaged well into their later years? Why do others struggle with disease, fatigue, and declining health? What is happening beneath the surface? What processes drive aging? In Aging Sucks, researcher, educator, and author Red O'Loughlin explores what researchers have discovered about why we grow older. No medical degree required, no confusing jargon, just clear explanations of what researchers have discovered about the processes that influence aging. You cannot stop aging, but understanding its causes may help you make better decisions about your health, your future, and your quality of life. Because understanding comes before action. Action creates hope. Aging sucks. End the guesswork. There is hope. Every day, we wake up knowing what we should do. We know we should take better care of ourselves. We know we should have the difficult conversation. We know we should stop making excuses. We know we should invest in our future. We also know we should take the first step. So why don't we? It's not because we aren't smart enough. It's not because we don't have enough information. And it's certainly not because we don't care. We live in a world overflowing with knowledge. Books, podcasts, videos, courses, experts, even artificial intelligence. We have more access to information than any generation before us. Yet so many of us are still waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready, waiting until tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and before you know it, another opportunity has passed us by. The truth is, knowing has never been the finish line. It's only the starting line. Our lives don't change because we know more. Our businesses don't grow because we know more. Our relationships don't improve because we know more. And our health doesn't transform because we know more. Everything changes when we act. When we choose courage over comfort, progress over perfection, action over intention. The question isn't, what else do we need to know? The question is, what are we going to do with what we already know? Stop. Why Knowing Isn't Enough by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Because knowing opens the door. Action changes your life. Available September 2026.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at USAGlobalTV.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.